Hello and welcome everyone to our Uncommon Sense. This is the most uncommon place on the internet where we question everything, learn together, and we might get a little emotional today. It is a very special day for both Billy and myself, and we get a little teary.
Yep.
We're patriots. We believe in the country. We believe in the men and women who sacrifice for our country.
And with that said, before we really start the show, we would really like to pay tribute to all of those who have fallen in battle and never made it home. So we're going to play the national anthem. Look, I'm already getting teary-eyed.
United, there is little we cannot do.
I think we needed that break right off the bat.
Yeah, so we're getting a little emotional there, and you know,
It's hard not to get emotional, though. And like I was saying earlier, I just went to the reenactment this weekend. It
Right.
wasn't really a reenactment per se. It was a history days. It was the opening of the Fort Klamath Museum.
right,
But it's a day for us to open the museum for the summer and
right,
sort of teach a little bit of history. And this weekend was also the City Fest in Klamath Falls, and that was a huge event. Huge.
You went.
Yeah, I did.
You should have reported on it while you was there.
I thought about it, but I have kids, and it was more important for me to spend time with them and entertain them, and
Yes, that's
so
family is the most important thing. In fact, we was going to do an episode this week on the family unit, and we decided, you know what? Why is there such a thing called the family unit? And we started thinking about our veterans, and Memorial Day was coming up, so we decided to do a Memorial Day event.
It all
honoring
kind
the
of
family unit.
yeah, because it all goes together. Those who have been lost, they were someone's family.
Yeah,
And
there was a father, a
last
son,
night,
a brother,
my aunt
a
was
sister,
watching
a
that.
mother.
I think it was on ABC or something. Some Memorial Day program they had, and Gary Sinise was like the host of it. And, they had families going up and talking about the ones they had lost,
Right.
And we had just been talking about, we need to talk about family, and I mentioned faith as well.
Yep. Faith is a good thing.
And then, obviously, freedom.
Right.
And what are we celebrating but those who have fought for the family unit, for faith and freedom?
Right.
Right. And then Sunday was just busy because, I really wanted to take the kids out there and have the, what am I trying to say? The History Days event, at least catch the end of it,
Right, and spend it with the family.
Yeah, and my kids like to do the whole dressing up, and we're actually active in the club and everything, or we try to be, I should say, because my daughter still doesn't have a costume, but my son, I say costume, but we actually do period correct clothing. So it's really not a costume, it's an actual uniform or an actual period correct dress.
Right.
And my grandma used to make them. So my shirt now is actually, all the shirts I have aren't even Civil War period correct, but they are older than that period correct, because we also, before that, we did Mountain Man Rendezvous.
Oh, okay.
And so we dressed up as Mountain Men, Indians, and it was fun. Went out and...
Oh, wait. Can we say Indians or are they natives?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I read Lewis and Moore. That's old literature, as far as everybody's concerned now.
Whatever happened to the old days when you could play cowboys and Indians? You can't do that anymore. Cops and robbers, you can't do that anymore either.
No. It's sad.
It's sad. We're in a stat state.
A stat state.
We're in a stat state. It's a new tongue. I'm just trying it out. New teeth,
Actually, that's kind of true.
It is kind of true.
Anyway. So, where was I going with this, though? Okay, so, the history. What is the history of Memorial Day? Where is my shirt? Right there it is. Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, is a day of remembrance of those who have died in the service or in service to the United States. It began with local observances in burial grounds in several towns throughout the United States following the end of the Civil War, such as May 1st, 1865, the gathering in Charleston, South Carolina, organized by free slaves. Did you hear that? It was organized by free slaves to pay tribute and give proper burial to Union troops.
That was in
And then in 1873, New York was the first state to designate Memorial Day as a legal holiday. And Memorial Day, you see, from 1868 to 1870, it was observed
on May 30th.
On May 30th. But since 1970, it has been observed on the last Monday of May. So.
And,
And they basically did that to give 3-day weekends.
Right. I like to just take 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds. I know everyone's busy out there with their lives, and I appreciate them stopping or pausing just to, tune in and pay attention to the podcast and what we have to say. Hopefully it brings some information that they might not have known, and just how people feel about the holiday itself in general. But thank you for doing that, and I'd just like to take 5 seconds just of silence in remembrance of those that have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Amen.
Amen. God bless you.
Okay, so that's the history, the very, very brief history of Memorial Day. But it's fun in a way, in the fact that I just went to the History Days opening, and, we teach about the Civil War.
Right.
Memorial Day began as a remembrance of the Civil War.
Yes, it did.
And something we really, really stress with people in teaching them about this is that there was no good guys and bad guys.
No.
Not only were we all human, but we were all Americans.
Right.
And what divided us?
What divided us was
our economics and our politics.
Our politics and our economics is what divided us. One said, hey, I'm better than you. The other said, no, you're not.
But they were still
brothers
and sisters. And I mean, some of them were literally from this same town.
Yeah.
Some of them fled to go to the opposite side because they believed in the opposing view.
Right. Was it the right view?
And there were soldiers as young as 9 and 10 documented after the fact. It was my dad, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Happy Memorial Day.
He's probably got some information. He's probably watching right now. I don't know.
He might be.
He might be watching. Hopefully he's watching. We had a few watching at the beginning. Now we are down to one. So hopefully it's him.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but one thing that's something that we really, really stress to people. These were all Americans.
Yeah. These were humans. This was your fellow man.
And it was excessively common during the Civil War for them to trade with each other
Yes,
in between battles.
Mm-hmm.
There's several instances that were documented about, one waves to the other guy across, and if he was in gray, he would say, hey, do you have any coffee? They had a lot of coffee in the north.
Yep.
And the one in blue would say, yeah. You got any tobacco? Yeah. All right, let's make a trade. And they would meet in the middle of the river and they would make a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day they were shooting at each other.
Yeah.
All because they had
Differing political views.
more Americans died during the Civil War than all of our wars since combined.
Yeah.
Combined. It's a lot of Americans. And we were shooting each other.
Mm-hmm. This is during the time of the birth of our country, too.
Yeah, we were still just a baby country.
Yeah.
We still are, comparatively to everybody else.
Right.
So, another thing I was saying earlier when we were talking about this was, when I first started Civil War reenacting, we were all very into it, and, there were sad moments where we would talk about certain things, like certain battles and
Right.
certain historical figures that we were attached to personally.
Right.
But now it's almost even hard to teach it without crying, in a sense. Like, you even just feeling that little bit of a knot right in here.
Yeah.
No, some of us, we get teary-eyed more than others, but it's just, there's a weird aura about it now. And no one's really talked about it, but I feel it with everyone. And we're still teaching and we're still putting the information out there,
Right.
the history out there.
The true
But
history.
more of it has become more emotional. Like, more emotionally,
In tune.
yeah. And because we understand more now of how they felt way back then.
You have a more
So let me switch
realistic.
to-
You have a more realistic understanding.
a full understanding.
Right. Because you partially lived through it through the reenactment.
And then with all the, political turmoil that happens
Right.
today, let me sit forward a little bit, sorry. All the political turmoil that's happening today, it's so much more relatable
Yeah.
and scary,
Very scary.
Because you think, like, how many people do you know that would be on the other side? And it's not just the North versus the South anymore. We're all intermingled. It's
Yeah.
not just about who has the ports and who has the crops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so much division among small communities. So if something like that was to break out again, we would be literally fighting our neighbor.
Yes, we would. Once again.
But even on a more drastic level, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
than before.
Yep.
Not only is there all this more of us, but we're all wed together now. Like I said, it's not just the North and the South. You know, and yeah, there was ones that, like I said, that fled to the opposite side due to opposing beliefs.
Right.
It did split families, obviously.
Oh yeah.
A lot of families.
Brothers were.
But
fighting
imagine
each
how
other.
much more drastic it's going to be when you know what I'm trying to say, though? You know where I'm trying to go with this?
I know exactly where you're going with it, because if it happens again, we have more of a population now than what we did back in the 1860s.
Yeah, and it's all webbed together now.
Yeah.
More so even than it was back then.
Right.
And
so
it's
if
all over the
anything
country.
was to happen, there would be more deaths on the, I'll just call it the next Civil War. You know, I'm not saying there is going to be one, but
If there was
if
one.
there was one,
Hypothetically speaking.
the next Civil War would be brother against brother, you know, father against son, such like that again.
Mm-hmm.
But we have more of a population, so much more. So that means
And it's so much
multiply
more
that,
entwined.
right? Multiply the deaths, the casualties that's going to happen because of this. Yeah,
Millions.
yeah. Now ask yourself, is it planned?
So you said something earlier when we were just talking about war is
War,
a necessary evil. No,
yeah, war is a necessary evil because
To
of the fact that there's two sides to every coin.
extent.
There's the yin and yang.
yes.
Without war, one cannot know peace.
Yes. However, the overlords, as I like to call them, they have used that to their advantage
Yeah.
and have created the
You know what I think?
industrial complex.
You know, you keep hearing, I hate doing this, but I'm going to call them out. You keep hearing all these people saying, hey, what about the 1%? All right, I'm going to do better. What about the 0.5% that is pulling all the strings for every country around the world? Why don't all the countries get together and say, you know what, enough's enough. I ain't putting up with your bullshit.
Yeah. But I think it starts small. Do you know what I mean? So we have to get the ball rolling, you know?
Yeah, but see, they can always extinguish small balls.
But if we focus on our local communities first
Right.
and figure out how everything webs out. And that's why we are questioning everything and learning together, because not one single person can figure out where all the lines go. You know what I mean?
I can. I can draw a line straight to them.
But you know what I mean?
I can put them in laser sights if you
To
like.
figure out all the little connections,
Yeah.
who's funding what, and how deep that rabbit hole goes.
Stop.
And start from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dear.
And if we all, I know, but if we all were to, if we were all to get on the same plateau, if you know what I'm saying,
Same level. Same level.
and yeah, you know, kind of like France did in a sense,
Yeah.
but everywhere all at once. Well, I mean, even just starting with America.
You know what we need to do? This is what needs to happen.
What we need to do is like what, was it Norway? Was it Norway?
What's that?
Or all those farmers stood up and said, no, we're not going
Pay your
to
exorbitant
do all this
taxes.
junk. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was.
And then they
Norway.
created their own little party. Was it Norway?
Yeah.
They created all their own little parties.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do that? Go back to voting for the little guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know you're wearing a Trump hat, but there's a big part of me that's like...
Hat. The reason I'm wearing a Trump hat is because, no, I'm not a Republican. God, yeah.
But
But I'm a constitutionalist. I believe that the The Constitution is the law of the land. It is what gives us
Yes.
inalienable rights that
But
are provided by God.
How
himself.
many people that are on the top of the list to be voted for, say like Trump or DeSantis,
Right.
how many of us actually know that guy?
Oh, I don't know, but I share something in common.
Arrogance?
Money.
But what I'm saying is
We
though
share
is
the
like
same birthday.
if we stop focusing on the big guys, the ones that are going to be plastered all over whatever news we happen to be watching, maybe we might have a chance.
I think what we need to do as a populace, as citizens of the world,
Yeah.
we need.
But
to
I think it
stand up
starts
to our
country to country.
governments.
You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's where it starts. Is
We need
country to country.
If country here starts it, next country starts it, next country starts it. No, they're gonna expect something like that.
I know, but I
and be
think
able
that's where it's going to end up going. Is that
Right.
it's going to be one at a time, and once we've all figured out that this is working,
right.
boom, you know.
Once we all find out and discover that, hey, if we all address the politicians all at the same time,
And the
as
and
a
companies.
whole, and companies, then
But this goes back to what we were saying about
all right. Well, let's get back to Memorial.
freedom, for one,
Yeah,
because why did people flood to America in the first place?
because
For freedom.
for freedom, the values that we hold dear, for capitalism, for the chance to make their
And-
dreams come true through
Right,
hard
but
work.
true
and
capitalism,
dedication.
not incorporated capitalism,
No.
the way that they've run it now.
No, that's a political
There is
capitalism.
so many things in that system that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So many things.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
One, we need to stop the lobbyists.
Yeah.
Why are
But you know how we do
politicians-
that is we stop voting for the big guys.
Yeah.
Because the big guys are the ones that are getting lobbied.
Yeah.
And no offense, but
But
Trump is on that list. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well,
But he is. Him, DeSantis. I mean, you know.
right. Well, name a politician that hasn't been lobbied before in the past.
Exactly. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
So, we need new people. We need fresh faces. We need real citizens to stand up and be like, you know what? I'm running for president. Tell everybody in his town that he's running for president.
Right. I want to say right now, here, to get it out of the way and out in the open,
So,
we don't need a Democrat president.
is
We
there
don't
a
need
constitutionalist in Oregon that wants to run for president?
If there is,
Do it.
Do
And
it.
then tell me.
We
And I will
will
tell
vote for you.
everyone.
We will vote for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if there was one in every state
Yeah,
that was like, hey, I'm going to run for president?
that'd be cool.
And was like, you know what? I don't. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to take a pause.
Respin our measure. All right,
Okay,
we're back. Sorry
back to the
about
show.
that. You know, parental figures.
Don't always check their text messages, especially when,
Just saying.
you know.
You could have.
I'm a Zennial, we've decided.
Yes, you are
I
definitely.
mean, I'm
yes,
still
Danny.
a millennial outlaw, but that's why I'm a Zennial.
Yeah,
Because I fall in the category of millennials, but
yeah.
I'm just a little too far.
We're on the cusp.
Yeah.
They should give a couple of years leeway, both,
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
So, and my parents were older compared to my
Right.
friends' parents and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, in honor of Memorial Day, I know those who have been in the service and were also buried at the VA cemetery. Fortunately, I know too many that are buried at the VA cemetery. And yeah, I like to remember them.
And every one of them had people that loved them.
Yeah, they had been. They were fathers, they were sons, they were brothers.
And like what I said to you about, because I asked you to do the intro.
Right.
And you were like, are you sure I should? And I was like, well, yeah, you should. You're the veteran.
Right.
And then you made that other comment, and I was like, well, but when you signed up to do what you did in the military, you knew the risks.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was a very high chance you doing what you did that you would die for your country.
Yeah. Well,
and you were one of the few that
I
didn't.
I enlisted. There was no draft at that time. I enlisted, and I went in the Marine Corps.
Yep.
And I signed a blank check for my life, up to and including my life.
Yep.
In defense of this country and the Constitution of the United States of America.
And so did my dad. And
Yep.
he was one of the few that came home. And granted, my dad was never like on the battlefield. He was typically on a boat.
Right.
But if war struck, that boat could have been.
Oh, speaking
You know
of
what I mean?
which, I don't know if your dad's watching right now or not, but I heard something the other day that was so cute. A guy was asked one time, he goes, "Hey, are you in the Navy?" The guy goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Cool." He goes, "The Marine Corps is a department of the Navy, right? Men's department."
So my dad was a Navy corpsman for 23 years.
Yes, he was. My hat's off to him. Because
He did a lot with he was a lab tech, but he was also an EMT.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He had to put up with a bunch of jarheads like myself. So.
Yeah. I mean, because now we're friends.
Yeah.
Yep. If anybody wonders where my sense of humor comes from, well, I was raised by a Navy corpsman. My cousin was a trucker. And my best friend, well, he was a Marine. Yeah. Makes for interesting influences.
Yes, very much so. No wonder you're so warped.
Yeah.
Oh, that's therapy for the next 7 years.
Again? So the other thing I wanted to bring up, besides family and freedom, was faith.
Yes.
Because without faith, what do we have? Without faith in one another and faith in a higher power, we have no chance of defeating any evil.
Right.
Now,
We had a discussion about
let me
this the
make
other day.
myself clear, though. Faith in a good higher power.
Right.
Not one that expects you to sacrifice, children or do weird stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
There's a lot going on with this whole Target thing. And then someone who is allegedly a employee,
Mm-hmm.
was recorded saying that she loves Satan. And then she turned around and said she didn't believe God. And I said, wait. How can you believe in Satan, but not believe in his exact opposite? I'm just saying. I mean, I believe in Satan.
Right.
That doesn't mean I like the dude. Okay.
Right.
But I mean, he's God's opposition, so
Yeah.
you can't really, you know what I mean?
Right. And
If you believe in ultimate good, then you have to believe in ultimate evil,
this is goes back
and
to,
vice versa.
to yin yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yin yang is the world's oldest philosophy. It believes that there is two sides to everything, and inside of those sides, there's good and there's evil, and inside of every bit of evil, there's a little bit of good, and every inside of every little bit of good, there's a little bit of evil.
Oh, sorry. It was showing, wasn't it? I'm just kidding. Okay.
Right. Not with you, you creep.
Talking about Biden again.
I like the smell here. I like it. Play with the hair.
And then
on
he
my
just
leg.
drools. There, you're drooling your ice cream again.
Oh, sorry about that.
You sounded like Bill Clinton.
Did I? I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's what he's gonna sound like when he's like Biden's age.
Right.
I can just see it now. Bill Clinton all drooling all over himself.
They got pictures
He's
of
trying to
that
snip
when he
his
was on
granddaughter's
Epstein
hair.
Island.
Gross. It's not funny. It hurt my brain.
See my eye switching?
Okay, but faith
Faith.
in a good higher power.
Someone that gives you a common peace, knowing that you've done something good or in a righteous manner. Righteous meaning in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Now, being raised Christian, I call him God or the Lord.
Right.
You know, my Father, who art in the sky. Hallowed be his name.
Now, I was
But-
raised Christian, but I was also raised on a reservation. So.
Yes. And I was raised in, well, this county. Like the entire county.
Right.
It kind of feels like I literally was raised in the entire county.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of memories out in Bonanza. I have friends that were from the reservation. I have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I've been all over this county. You know, it is a part of me. And there is so much of, you go to certain areas, and even just across the border, if we go,
Right.
you know, lava beds and whatnot, where you can still feel the spirits of nature.
Right.
And some of them are nicer than others. Don't ever read Haunted Mesa and then go out to the lava beds.
No.
My aunt learned that the hard way. And I was like, well, I know not to do that now. But where were we going with this? So the faith in not only the higher power that, okay, the natives would have called him the creator. Okay, Christians call him God,
Right.
right? But the natives, like the Druids, were more in touch with the nature of that as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I think as Christians, we need to come back to some of that understanding. That nature is part of that.
Yeah.
Like, we have to not necessarily worship it, but respect it and love it just as much as we love our God. Right? And have faith in the spirits of the earth, if we want to call them that.
Yeah.
You know, guardian angels, if you want to call them that. Call them whatever you want.
Right.
But there is something spiritual going on here. And we can all feel it. We've talked about the spiritual war. A lot of channels are talking about the spiritual war. But something I want to bring up to do with that ties in with this faith that we want to talk about. That we really want to emphasize why it's important.
Right.
So this spiritual war they talk about, like Christian channels will talk a lot about the evil side of it, and dark magic, and black magic, and this and that. Okay. Raised a Christian, also raised a fan of fantasy, specifically The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Okay. In The Lord of the Rings, which many Christian fans of the series,
Mm-hmm.
they see the parallels between The Lord of the Rings and the Bible.
Right.
Okay? Now, if we want to sort of think of them similarly in that sense, there was good and there was evil.
Right.
There was good magic and there was evil magic.
Right.
So, if we are in a spiritual war and there's black magic and dark magic, isn't there a good magic as well?
Right. That goes.
So, in order to, so to speak, fight the spiritual battles, we have to be in touch with the magic as well. Do we not? Because whatever God has put here, that, whatever has been put here that allows them to harness whatever evils that they want to put out there, there has to be a counter, just like the yin and yang.
Yeah. It has to be, because that's how there's a balance in nature. Just saying.
So,
That's what the universe is.
God, the creator, he made everything. But he has left it to the nature of that thing. So, the nature of things, we have to respect that. Because he respected it enough to let it have its own will, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think that's why, like, say, the Druids thought of it as Father in the sky and Mother Earth.
Right.
Because, yes, he controls the skies and all of that, but the earth itself has its own nature.
Right.
And he has given it its will, just as he has given us our own will.
Right.
And I think if we can understand it in that sense, we will have so much more power to fight against whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
And these poor young people that are like, I love Satan.
But
Like,
there is no God.
But there is no... How
That's
can you
like,
say
that's
that?
like getting in an
So-
argument with an atheist and then turn around, and when you got a winning point and they don't have anything else to say, they turn around, look at you and go, Jesus Christ.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can say that in a praying form. You get out. You just said you didn't believe in him, so you can't even say his name. So, but along this whole line of good versus evil, I went to City Fest.
Okay. Yep. You did go to City Fest.
And
we talked about this.
everything was trying to keep the newsboys from getting here.
Right.
So they have apparently been planning this with Ryan Stevenson for some time. And between flight delays, more flight delays, canceled flights, rain, this and that, everything was keeping them from getting to City Fest.
Right.
They wouldn't let the forces be against them. So they made their way here. And just before, specifically the newsboys got to play,
Right.
it rained. And it came down pretty hard for a minute. We all got drenched. They had to rearrange the stage, dry off the stage, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And people did start leaving. But I noticed it was a lot of older people
Yeah.
and families with little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there was other trickling ones who were like, I'm not going to stay here for this.
Right.
Unfortunate. But what amazed me was the immense amount of people that stayed in the rain and waited for them to play.
Right.
And then twice kind of toward the middle of their performance, there was two different songs where the PA system kept cutting out.
Yeah.
And we all kept singing with them, you know. We knew the words, so we just kept singing. And he's up there singing his heart out. And they can't tell because they have their earpieces in. They can hear each other. They can hear the instruments. We finally started chanting that we can't hear you.
Right.
Right? And so they took a few minutes. They got the PA system fixed. And they came back for their last two songs.
Right.
Because their last song is always God's Not Dead.
Right.
And he wasn't going to have it going out on God's Not Dead. I mean, come on. That was the whole reason this junk's happening. You know?
Right.
Somebody trying to keep him from singing that song. So, it was an awesome show. And actually, right before they played God's Not Dead, it started sprinkling rain again. It was weird, dude. It was weird. But the whole aura of the place was good.
Right.
You know? Like, you don't have to be a Bible thumper to appreciate that.
Right.
That good faith and just being together and being human and knowing that there is a higher good power that is on our side.
Right.
So now we just have to learn how to listen and pay attention and harness that good power that we have access to. Which obviously isn't as much as he has access to. But yeah, so that's my rant.
Yeah.
I know we're going on a long episode here, but I'm kind of okay with it because it is Memorial Day.
Yes, it is.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, this Memorial Day, think of a veteran. Think of someone who lost his life in defense of this country. Think of someone.
And I'll bet you there's someone that you know,
Yeah.
even through a friend or family member. Maybe you weren't close to them. You know, somebody you went to high school with.
Right. And as you think of them,
I know a
take
few of
your
those.
family into your arms and hold them just a little tighter.
And if you have one that made it home, never stop thanking God that they made it home.
Right. A lot of them did.
Because
Many.
it's a flip of somebody's coin,
Right.
you know.
I know your eyes are getting teared up there. You're gonna start bawling on me.
No, I'm not a baller. It just leaks. Yeah.
Because those that made that ultimate sacrifice, they didn't do it for themselves. They did it for the family they had back home.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate sacrifice is what? When they laid down their lives for this country.
Yep.
The
But when they
sacrifice.
signed up,
Right.
that was
They knew.
part of it.
Yeah. Some didn't get signed up. Some,
Some got drafted.
yeah,
Some didn't have a choice.
that's right.
And unless they were
But you
in
know,
college at the time,
Right.
or, you know, under specific circumstances,
for it.
were they able to, you know, dodge the draft, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then there's also some of them that turned around and signed up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They left college. They didn't
Yeah.
take their dodge that they could have taken,
Mm-hmm.
and they signed up anyway.
Why? One simple reason. One word to this
Freedom.
answer that. America and the values it holds.
Freedom.
dear.
And liberty, justice for all.
Yeah. And with that,
We're gonna have our little surprise subject
yeah,
real quick.
I just want to thank you for hanging out with us this long.
Yeah, if you've made it this long, we appreciate you. especially the weird little rants that we go on, and you know, it happens when you're just hanging out with your friend and having a conversation.
Right.
But that's kind of the point of all this. Like, come hang out, have a conversation with us, and
Right. Learn something.
ask a question. And,
Ask a question.
you know,
Don't be afraid to ask.
if
Don't
you're
be
rude, then
afraid
we'll
to
just-
discuss anything.
yeah, if you're rude, we'll just ignore you, or you know, if you get violent or
Or
something,
we'll
we'll
laugh.
block you or make fun of you.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the mood we're in today.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
comment at your own risk. No.
yeah. I mean, if you have comments about me or whatever, I'm pretty sure before you go down that rabbit hole, just understand I have an ex-wife and she's called me a lot worse. Just saying.
I make fun of myself. So
Oh, I make fun of myself all
Yeah.
the time with this much material. I'm gonna be laughing all the way
I mean,
to
look
the
at me.
grave. Well, not necessarily you, your hair though, but
should have seen it yesterday. I was wearing a kepi all day.
oh wow.
Oh, it happens. Okay, so we do have something though we want to bring up to you guys that's
Right.
a little bit interesting. Just a wee bit.
Just a tad bit.
Okay, so no, actually we're gonna play this one first, I think.
Well, I think we should describe it first before YouTube deletes our video.
Why are they gonna delete our video? We're talking about Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Okay, so but here's the thing: is we don't know what
Right.
this is,
We don't know
Okay.
what it is.
but we have a speculation, and we have a certain somebody that some of you may know if you've been watching us long enough. That used to be on the show all the time,
Right. He is an entomologist like you would not believe.
like you would not believe. So he knows a lot of scientifically interesting things. But this was actually sent to us by a viewer earlier today, and I ended up sending it to him,
Right.
and it got us on this conversation. There was some information on something that he wanted to send me a while back, but he went to find the information and couldn't find it. So we're not sure where it went. However, when I sent him this today, he did end up sending me a couple other videos.
Right.
So let me rearrange this really quick. We're going to listen to this, and then we'll go over that page that I just had up. Okay, ready? Say it.
Yep. Ready.
There's a new fungus that has just entered into human beings' bloodstreams and systems, and it's the first time, I believe, that this style of fungus, which is basically a mushroom, has ever been documented in mammals. So it's
Interesting.
almost like the exact
great.
foundation for what happened in The Last of Us.
Do you know where they found this?
They found it in hospitals, actually. People were coming in
Oh.
feeling sick, causing infections and deaths among hospital patients across the country.
Oh, good. It's resistant to antifungal drugs.
That's right.
Of course.
So all
That's
of it.
perfect.
Just like in The Last of Us.
It's definitely scary. It's not one of those things you think about often that like a fungus, you know, it's not a bacteria, it's not a virus, it's a fungus that's like invading your bloodstream like mushroom spores,
Yep.
just inside of your bloodstream,
Yep.
doing whatever kind of damage they're going to do.
There's a new fungus.
Okay, so
All right. What we're talking about is this.
this is what we speculate. Okay, now we are not scientists. We are not entomologists. But this. So this is all completely speculation.
Right.
Okay. Just for educational and research purposes only. So, there is this fungus,
Can you just pronounce it?
Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. Okay, cordyceps is actually a family of fungus. So Orpheo would be the specific type
Right.
of the fungus.
Right. They know that this much they know about it is that it is a cordyceps
Yes.
fungus.
So, the zombie ant fungus, also known as Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, is an insect pathogenic fungus found predominantly in tropical forest ecosystems. It infects ants of a certain tribe and alters their behavioral patterns. The fungus sends down a shower of spores to infect the next generation of ant prey.
Taxonomy.
Yeah, the taxonomy.
Taxonomy.
Of the fungus is
Contentious.
This is a weird angle, and there's like a weird glare on there.
Yeah.
With some research suggesting that each species of carpenter ants is infected by its own species of the fungus. It drains its host completely of nutrients before filling its body with spores that will let the fungus reproduce. The fungus is known for using mind control on insect hosts, but humans are immune. However,
For now.
something to just kind of throw out there, theoretically speaking.
Right.
Remember in 2020, the birds?
Yeah.
Who remembers the birds?
I remember.
We
a
did
whole
an episode on the birds. Oh, it wasn't 2020. It was 2021.
2021.
So we did a whole episode about this whole bird thing. What's going on with the birds? Why were they just dying? And what was that weird white pussy stuff coming out of their orifices? And a strange dust. If you were to tap them with a stick.
Right. They would have a dust about them. Dust and spores.
So
That's what I'm deducing from it all.
kind of makes sense. Okay. Now, like I said, this is all
Right. We should do this one here first. And do the other one.
this is all just skepticism and
Right.
questioning, Like I said, we're not professionals at anything, not even YouTube.
No. And we're going to do a reaction to this one. This is only 3 minutes long.
CDC warns of spike in U.S. cases of deadly fungal infection. Now, I want everybody to keep in mind, too. Meanwhile, at the border,
Right.
we have tons of people coming over with TB, malaria, whooping cough, smallpox, I don't know, you name it.
Yeah, smallpox included because
Yeah. Oh, I know.
the country's
So,
country of origin.
They already have compromised immune systems.
Right.
Many of them with compromised lungs and respiratory systems.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind.
A potentially deadly infection from a fungus is spreading, with the CDC now sounding the alarm tonight, warning people this is serious for older folks, like if you have a parent or a grandparent in a nursing home. Cases of what's called CRS tripling between 2020 and 2021. And part of what's
She says it weird. Is it CRS or CRS?
CRS.
Why does she say it all weird?
I think she says it again a second time. Let's not back it up a little bit. Let's hear it again.
But let's know. C. Okay, cordyceps. That's in that's the family.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there. But
grandparent in a nursing home. Cases of what's called CRS tripling between 2020 and 2021. And part of what's so concerning here is that it's not easy to treat. This kind of infection is resistant to most drugs. I want to show you how much it's been spreading since 2016. From 4 states then reporting cases to 21 states now. Nobody is in freak out mode yet, to be clear. This is still rare. It's not a threat to folks who are otherwise generally healthy. Dr. John Torres is with me now to break this down. And Dr. John, while it is not like freak out mode yet, there is a concern that
it's not in freak out mode yet, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Masks. Your fancy masks might have a better chance of keeping, that kind of stuff out.
Right. I really don't want to. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, When do
Hey,
we
it worked
do
one
we
time,
freak
right?
out? It worked once, right? Yeah. So I'm just putting that out there. Like, maybe we should all consider not breathing.
Yeah, really,
It's not love that's in the air. It's spores. No, I'm just kidding.
invasive
But
of the
like,
body's
when
natural
do we freak out? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the moment that we start.
tell me, talking head lady, when am I supposed to freak out? Or you? You know,
Doctor, whoever.
Doctor Dude? Yeah.
This, and I don't want to overstate it here, but the worry that perhaps this could develop into the next MRSA. I think people know that as that sort of drug-resistant infection that you can pick up and that can be pretty scary.
And Hallie, the thing of it is the World Health Organization said this is a global issue. So not just here in the U.S., but around.
Oh.
Oh, see, yeah,
Oh.
the World Health Organization.
Who?
You know, yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
He's on first.
Oh.
Uh,
What?
he's on second.
Anyway.
No, he don't anymore.
I wouldn't let him anyway, so.
Right. Let him anyway. Get it anyway. No, I would definitely say if their CDC and the WHO are, both concerned about this, I think we should be good with, YouTube, fact checkers.
Yeah, just let us know what's going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
This is on NBC.
put your little
News.
thing and be like, well, here's the link that everybody needs.
Right.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Put it right there on the video. We don't care. Cover up my face if you want to with it.
I mean, that's fine. So NBC News now is the channel that we're,
Right.
All right, anyway.
On the globe, and since 2016, we started to see these cases expand and expand. For most of us who are healthy, have intact immune systems, not an issue because the fungus has a hard time getting into our body, and if it does, our immune system can fight it very well. But for those who are in nursing home, long-term care facilities, if they have invasive procedures done, if they have IV catheters inside, if they're on a ventilator, the fungus can get inside that way, and their immune systems are weak and can't fight it off. And so that is part of the problem there. So what can you do about it as a regular person? Well, number one, stay as healthy as possible. That's the obvious thing.
So they're mainly finding it in hospitals. Interesting. That's what I'm gathering anyway. Interesting.
Say, but if you have a loved one inside one of these facilities, talk to the facility about their procedures, because this is what we call a nosocomial infection. In other words, a nurse or an aide will get it from one patient and accidentally take it to another patient. And the authors of the study say they think this is happening because during the pandemic, the COVID procedures were essentially different procedures than you needed to keep this clean. And so they're saying there's an issue right there. Hopefully that's being corrected, Hallie.
What's interesting, too, about this fungus is that, according to our reporting, experts think that it originated, like it came from or got worse because of climate change. Explain that.
Exactly. And the fungus has been
Oh no.
Climate change.
Oh, you know, I want to come.
Don't get me started on climate change.
Yeah, we're not even gonna go there right now, guys. That's like a
that's a
whole
future
long
episode.
tangent.
Yeah.
Deadly fungal infections may increase with global warming. Oh, you're still using that term. I thought it was climate change now.
Yeah.
Global warming. That's so like 2003. Yeah, with the program, bruh. Oh.
Well, let's see. Sun's been around for so long. Earth's been around for so long. Suns die out as they burn off their fuel. The hydrogen and everything. As that burns off, and all like that there, it gets smaller in size, a little more denser. As it gets denser, let's see, it has more of a gravitational pull. If it had more of a gravitational pull, I bet you it'd bring all the planets in closer. And if it brought all the planets in closer, well, that would explain for a differential in the temperature, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but we also have to kind of look at like,
Greenhouse gases.
yeah, well, and not only that, but the natural fluctuation of weather and
Right.
climate.
Yeah. This happens about every 200 years. Don't freak out because you wasn't here 200 years ago to see it. Just saying.
Doesn't mean that there's not like a record of such things.
Right.
Several warmer summers or, colder winters, depending on where on the world you were.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just saying, certain things kind of make a little more sense.
So, Anyways, that's their fun blanket term, global warming.
Global warming, climate change.
Oh, it's like what is it called? Autoimmune disease.
Yeah, we're going off
Turn
on
around.
that tangent.
Climate change is the equivalent to autoimmune disease.
Right.
We don't know what's happening. We'll just throw that label on there. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like the label.
Well, at least we know this one's a fungus.
Right, yeah.
But it could affect you if you have an autoimmune disease.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, so
Forever, essentially, but it did not really affect humans. It likes cold environments or cool environments, and that's why some of these fungi you can see affect our skin or our toenails because they're cool.
It likes cold or cool environments, but yet it's all the way up around the south of the United States and down in sunny California. Which is a dot.
why would it be progressing because of global warming
if they like colder weather?
if it likes colder weather? Wouldn't we be
Right.
seeing it more in like Canada, Alaska,
Yeah, places like that.
more of the northern states than
Right.
what I was actually seeing was it's in heavily populated areas.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just want to say, all right, what else we
So,
got?
but maybe I'm wrong.
Body. But once this fungus starts being able to adapt to warmer environments, it can get inside our bodies, which are 98.6, and they think the climate warming has caused them to adapt to warmer environments, meaning they can get inside our bodies. And
Oh, well,
manifest
that's
themselves
the
that
spin
way.
on it. Okay.
And the concern is that this is going to continue and perhaps even worsen as the climate change worsens, Hallie.
All right.
So,
So YouTube, before you take us down, watch the whole video. Just saying.
it's rather strange, though.
Yeah. Oh,
No, my opinion. It's rather strange.
That have mutated.
Yeah.
And now that it's mutated, it can enter the human body now.
Yeah.
Because it likes warmer weather. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's why I like sunny California and down south. What's it doing
Oh.
here in Oregon
And Illinois.
and Illinois? Yeah. And New
So,
York.
so it apparently is not really, weatherist. I don't know anymore because it's
Right.
both in the north and the northern and southern states, scattered in a strange
Yeah.
fashion.
Yeah.
So weird.
Very weird. All right.
So
What we got here?
this is the last one, and she's got that strong accent, so well, just bear with us.
We are still dealing with the after effects of the Wuhan virus. Many are still not over.
They keep bringing that up.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. Why?
I thought we're
the
done.
trauma that was caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. And yet another deadly infection is on a rise. A highly drug-resistant fungus is spreading at an alarming rate in the United States. It is called Candida auris, and it is targeting those with a weak immune system. Should you be scared? Candida can cause fatal infections in the bloodstream, heart.
Candida is what she's saying.
All right.
Candida auris
All right.
can cause fatal infections, 30% to 70% mortality rate.
And the brain. Between 30 to 70% of infected hospitalized patients are estimated to die. Candida auris is multi-drug resistant. That is what makes it so lethal, because treatments just don't seem to work against it. The fungus goes undetected in a majority of the cases. Standard lab methods fail to identify Candida auris. Could this be the beginning of the next pandemic? Could the fungus find its way to your neighborhood? We are still dealing with the...
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So is this fungus the next wave? Is this the next emergency that they're going to declare?
Probably.
Just saying.
Isn't it always strange, too, that these things start in heavily populated areas?
Right. Especially in the United States.
So,
Democrat-run cities.
Isn't that a sign that we should all, just kind of mind our own business for a while?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's just become more rural as an entire nation.
Yeah. Know your neighbor, care about your neighbor.
And grow your own
You have to
vegetables.
socialize. Yeah, all these guys that are, let's go green. Come on, let's go green. Well, fine.
I got green in my backyard.
Go plant next year's dinner.
Exactly.
Once you're done doing that, then you're green.
And we mean next year's. Like, this whole winter's dinners.
Right.
Go plant it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of food.
Yeah.
Even just for one person. It's not like you can plant 5 carrots and be fine for the summer. Or for the winter, I mean.
Go green eating out of McDonald's.
Yeah.
Shake my head.
The Impossible Burger. That's their way of going green.
Yeah.
I got my plant-based burger. It's in my freezer. He ate grass his whole life.
Right.
But that concludes that, really. Our just question what's going on there. That's a little strange.
Makes you wonder. And in case you didn't know, because there has been a lot of talk about it in the news lately, we wanted to bring it to your attention just so you're aware.
And that's another question. Why aren't they talking about it?
Exactly.
What are they talking about that they tell you is so important? Look over here.
Don't pay attention over there. Look over here. Politicians.
And don't pay attention to the strings on Biden or anyone else.
Right. With that, I want to finish this episode. Thank you for spending Memorial Day with us. It's very muchly appreciated by this veteran. I know that my fallen brothers and sisters would just be delighted to know that you spent some time to think about them. So, until next time, don't believe the BS.
And stay uncommon. I almost did it again.